Hi guys. In this video we're looking at writing equations for parallel and perpendicular lines. Whenever you get the equations for the lines, they could be given to you in several different forms. No matter what form they give you, just switch them to slope-intercept form and then work with them for there. So for the first couple examples that we're going to do, we're going to be looking at writing equations for parallel lines. So for the first one, they tell us that we have an equation for line R, and if I draw a sketch for line R, it's going to look something like that. And it tells us the equation for line R is negative 2/5 x plus 8. So this is our R. And then we have a new line, a different line. Line S includes the point negative 10, 7, so somewhere right here. And what they tell us about this line is that it's going to be parallel to this line right there. And they want to know what is the equation for our new line S that we're going to draw. So our equation for line S, I'm going to start it over here. And we're going to put it in slope-intercept form. Y is equal to mx plus b, where we've got to have a value for the slope, or the m, and the b, our y-intercept. And we've got to get that information from this slope-intercept form for the line and from this point. And this point, remember, is an x and a y. So we've got to start, let's start here. Let's try finding our slope first. So we've got to find our slope from here. Y is going to be equal to negative 2/5 x plus b. Well, ooh, there's an m there. There's our m there. So the slope for line R is going to be equal to negative 2/5. Well, we need a slope for our line S, and they're asking for parallel. And when we're looking at parallel slopes, remember that means the same. Because if we were going to draw a sketch of it, it would end up looking like that. So the slope for our new line is going to be negative 2/5. And we know that because it tells us right here parallel. Parallel means the same. So I can plug that in there. So y is equal to negative 2/5 x plus b. Well, I need a value for b. I can't use 8, because if I used 8, then I'd have the same exact line that I started with, and it asks for an equation for line S that's a new line. So I'm going to need a new b. So to find the new b, I need a value for x and y, and I'm going to get that value from up here. So I'm going to do y. My y is 7 is equal to negative 2/5 times our x, which is negative 10, plus b. Make it so I can multiply those two fractions together, put the negative 10 over 1. 7 is going to be equal to a negative times a negative is a positive. 2 times 10 is 20 over 5 plus b. So 7 is going to be equal to 20 over 5. We'll simplify to 4 plus b. I'm going to move it up there. So 7 is equal to 4 plus b. Subtract 4 from both sides. b is going to be equal to 3. So now I need to write that as equation, because it says what is the equation of line S? And that's going to be y is equal to, slope is going to be negative 2/5 x plus 3. Okay. And then looking at the next one that they gave us, I'm going to take that y plus 2 equal to 8/3 times the quantity x plus 3, and I'm going to switch it to slope-intercept form. So to do that, using my order of operations, I distribute the 8/3 first. So y plus 2 is equal to 8/3 x plus 8/3 times 3. If you do that in your calculator, is going to give you 8. Subtract the 2 from both sides. So y is going to be equal to 8/3 x plus 6. So there's the equation in slope-intercept form. And they want, this is line P, and they want a new line Q. So the slope for line P is 8/3. We're looking at parallel. Parallel means the same. So if we're looking for a slope for line Q, it would have to be the same, so it'd be thirds. And they want what is the equation of line Q. So I'm going to write that in slope-intercept form. Have to have a value for m, have to have a value for b. Well, there's our m. Y is equal to 8/3 x plus b. Well, gotta have a value for b. Gonna get that from the y and the x. There's my x, there's my y. So y is gonna be -2 is equal to 8/3 times x is -1 plus b. -2 is equal to -8/3 plus b. Add the 8/3 to both sides. And then b is going to be equal to 2/3. So if I plug that in, so I have y equals mx plus b, y is going to be equal to 8/3 x plus 2/3. And then looking at the last one, this one's written in standard form, and I'm going to switch it from standard form to slope-intercept form. 5x plus 3y is equal to 15. Subtract that 5x from both sides, and we end up with 3y is equal to -5x plus 15. These aren't like terms, so I can't subtract the 5x from the 15, and they have to be written as two separate. Divide both sides by 3 because we're solving for y to get slope-intercept form. Y is equal to -5/3 x. So that -5 divided by 3 gave us the -5/3. And then 15 divided by 3 is 5. So it says the equation for line K can be written as 5x plus 3y equal to 15. And we rewrote it in slope-intercept form. Line L includes the point -4, 5, and is parallel to this line. What is the equation of line L? Well, that's going to be slope-intercept form. So y is equal to mx plus b. We need a value for m. We need a value for b. So here's my m. So the slope for line K is going to be -5/3. We need a slope for line L. The problem tells us that it's going to be parallel. Parallel means the same. So I'm going to keep the -5/3. So we're looking at y is equal to -5/3 x plus b. Got to have a value for b, so plug in the x and the y. There's our x. 5 is our y. So I'm looking at 5 is equal to -5/3 times our x is -4 plus b. So 5 is going to be equal to, turn that into a fraction so that we can multiply it. Negative times a negative is a positive. 5 times 4 is 20 over 3 times 1 is 3 plus b. Subtract the 20/3 from both sides, and that's going to leave us with b is going to be equal to -5/3. So they want, what is the equation of line L? Y is equal to, slope is going to be the same, the -5/3 x, and then b we found just happened to be the same and to be -5/3.